The second ever edition in the modern iteration of the Giro d'Abruzzo, and a testing 151 kilometres uphill, downhill and then towards an uphill finish in Crecchio. An opportunity for a puncher to take the first stage perhaps and to take the leader's jersey in the Giro d'Abruzzo. A mixture of young Italian teams, continental teams from the home country, an international field, as well as a smattering of top World Tour talent, rolling out for 151 kilometres on stage 1 from Cerny. The flag dropping at kilometre 0 eventually, and the expected attacks coming from a number of the Italian continental teams looking to make their mark on the race and get up the road, represent their teams. Polti visit Malta, one of the first teams to try and force a breakaway and prize a group clear from a very active peloton in the opening phase of the race. It was then that Davide Basso of the SC Padovani Polo Cherry back team went off the front and held a small advantage over the peloton, but he too was caught back in until eventually a breakaway of 3 made it up the road, including his teammate Matteo Zorlo, who took the only categorised climb of the day ahead of Diego Bracalente and Christian Ramelli. Behind, it was a combination of Intermarché, Israel, UAE Team Emirates working behind to control the break. And then disaster for Ramelli, the youngest of the riders in the breakaway, who overcooked a corner on a tricky descent, and at exactly the same spot, about 3 minutes later, one of the Japanese riders from Intermarché, Wanty, also went down. That left just 2 riders up the road working together to hold on to a shrinking advantage, as Stevie Williams, among the other race favourites behind, got ready for the action. The peloton controlling the breakaway and giving them very little chance. They got to the intermediate sprint of the day at Ripla Teatina, and it was once again Matteo Zorlo who got there ahead of his breakaway companion. David de la Cruz of Israel, though, picking up 1 bonus second for 3rd place at the intermediate sprint on GC. Then there was a counter-attack from Ben Granger, who for a while was stuck in between a peloton closing in on the front of the race and the 2 riders in the remains of the breakaway, who were eventually, just outside 30 kilometres to go, caught by Ivo Oliveira, riding now for UAE Team Emirates, and the race favourite for the day, Alessandro Covi. Stevie Williams, surprisingly, dropped early on, and as UAE Team Emirates just stalled, that allowed a counter-attack of some 7 or 8 riders to go clear. They worked well together, and eventually they were joined by another group of riders off the front of a peloton that was being controlled by 1 rider, and 1 rider alone from Israel Premier Tech. At this point, the race chaotic, 2 distinct groups going up the road, and it was time for UAE Team Emirates to seize control of affairs. With 5 kilometres to go, Bruno Hergots and Ivo Oliveira had control of the race for UAE Team Emirates, approaching the final climb of 1.3 kilometres, steep as well, to the finish line in Crecchio. Alessandro Covi then putting his troops on the front, and it was Bruno Hergots who took them through the Flamme Rouge at 1 kilometre to go, and then the indefatigable Ivo Oliveira got to the front and delivered a masterful ascent to place his team leader Alessandro Covi exactly where he wanted to be, with 250 metres to go. Covi then blasting away from the rest, a spirited showing from Filippo Fiorelli in 2nd place, but the gap was significant, and Covi took his first victory in any kind of race for over 3 years, his last victory coming in 2022 at the Giro d'Italia. Covi then the winner ahead of Fiorelli and Alessandro Fancellu from the JCT team. The new leader then, Alessandro Covi, by 4 seconds ahead of Fiorelli and Fancellu at 6 seconds, all the rest at 10 seconds, and of course, this being stage 1, Covi also heads the points standings. The King of the Mountains, Matteo Zorlo, on the only categorised climb of the day, he scored 5 points. And the best young rider, Alessandro Fancellu, 24 years of age, leads the way in the young rider competition.